Content warning. The following show contains a host that smokes like a chimney in 1888 going through a tunnel, sometimes accidental potty mouth language, discussions of fictitious violence, and a lot of things that make people feel uncomfortable. But understand you're not being attacked, you've just been seen. Your discretion is advised. Okay, I really think you're starting to like doing. I don't know. I really don't. It's a thing. We're doing the stuff. Let's just start the show. Yes, starting. All right. Well, get it going. Hey everybody, what is going on? How you doing? What's the word out there, ladies and gentlemen? Oh my God, we're here, we are here, we're here, and I want to welcome you to the dark side of the room. I am Solar Gray, the cinematic sorcerer, and I'm not alone. What? Yeah, that's right, I am not alone. I am here with our guest hostess with all of those mostesses and all of that jazz. You guys know her from so many different places, but you guys are really getting to know and love her because y'all love her over here, and that is why she keeps coming to the thing. Give up some love, give everything that you got. Just give me a little more, give me a little bit more over to Miss. As soon as I get her framed up the way that I need her framed up, I am a fantastic cat guy. No, I want the whole page. There, nope, almost there. All right, there we go. Wait, nope, not quite. Boom, that's better. That's what I'm looking at right there. Oh, look at that face there. Look at all that facing. All that face right there. Good old Miss Heather Johnson. How you doing, girl?
Oh, I'm doing all right. How's everybody else doing?
Oh, man. It is definitely a thing. We got the folks in there. We got black and white now in color. Oh, we got Roland settling in with his popcorn. Oh, this is going to be fun. It's like, we got one of our trolls. All right, this is going to be good. You know, as soon as we get Red Hulk and Neon Arlecchino back in here, I'm probably going to have to hire someone from Scandinavia to wrangle all the trolls. That's what I'm going to have to do. They've got the training. I don't have. No, that's what I'm sitting up doing. But you're here. I am not a troll. Yeah, you got the stuff. But today, we've got some really good stuff that's going on. And as I said in the intro, a lot of people might take a little umbrage with the stuff half work. A lot of people might take a little umbrage with what we're talking about today. And again, I am not here to attack anybody. I just want to say I see a lot of people. I've been a lot of people. And with all of those things out there, I want to make it very clear that I've learned to do better. Anybody can learn to do better. And this is not just prepping games for GMs. Oh, no. Because the very first error that people get into when they get into doing all this stuff is thinking that the GM has to do all of the preparation so that the players can show up and say, entertain me. No, that's not. No, we are talking about how to prep for games from every single perspective. GM, player, host of the game, because not every GM's at their own home. A lot of people go to other places. So we're going to be talking about how to be a player, how to be a GM, how to be a guest, and how to be a host, because, well, when doesn't it hurt to have that kind of expression? You know what I mean? What do you think about all that today, Miss Heather?
I think it's going to be a great topic to cover, and I'm excited, honestly, because not only do you guys get to learn something, but so did I. I got to learn a little bit more about what exactly I want at the table when, I come to sit and game.
That is exactly what I'm talking about on all that jazz. But I want you guys to sit back, relax, as one of my favorite YouTubers says, grab your popcorn and your snacks, because we are just getting started. But if I say something that causes a little bit of smoke, just a little bit of smoke, even some fire, you know what? Bring it. All right, bring it on. Send all emails to backinthedeck@gmail.com. It's BACKINTHEDECK@gmail.com. You can also reach out and tell me that I'm an idiot, a cuck, or a beta, or some sort of woke warrior, or SJW, or SWB, or MC Hammer, or whatever initials you're sitting out there doing the whole thing. Don't care. You can hit me up on Twitter and Instagram, and of course, if you're not in your 40s, you can also reach out to me on TikTok. That is @BidP. That is @BID, a PY. And if you are, like myself, in your 40s and still on the Book of Faces, take a break from Fox News for a hot minute and sign up for Deckers on the Book. Talk about games and all that other stuff, and get to know a whole bunch of people from all walks of life that love the same things that we do. Games and toys and comics and cartoons and Star Wars and Star Trek and Doctor Who and all of the things that we used to get thrown in the lockers for back in the 80s, when bullies used to try and kill kids and parents said toughen up and punch them in the nose. So with that, I gotta say thank you guys for showing up. If you guys get any value out of what we do, all right, I'm just getting the begging for money out of the way real quick. You can donate to us with a one-time donation, i.e. buy me a cup of coffee or something like that. Or you can join our Patreon, because our Patreon is a thing. What up, gamer? From 3 Ghost, out there inspiring all copies of Bruce Wayne. So whenever there is a little kid who lost their parents in a gunfire incident and they see you, they will become a man who talks like he has gravel in his throat. And like I said, if you guys get any sort of value out of all this, just hit us up on any of the links that I just put up there in the chat. We got merchandise, and honestly, the merch pays us the absolute least, but it's my favorite thing that you guys do, because I have a dream. It's not a big dream, it's a little dream, to go to like Adepticon or WonderCon or Gen Con or San Diego Comic-Con or New York Comic-Con or Wizard Fest up in Seattle and see someone wearing a Big P t-shirt. That would be so awesome. Or go to a random gaming store and see the GM pull out their GM notebook that has Little Saul or the back of the face, or back in the deck logo on the cover of the book. That would just make me feel so like I haven't wasted my life. That's right, Xanathase. We got merchandising all the way out there from the land of beer and cheese. That would just be so awesome. But yeah, I want to say thank you for all this. And Heather, I'm going to roll out the red carpet. Where can the people find you when you're not here on this show?
They can find me at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on twitch.tv/gamingfixlive. That's GIMINGFIXXLIVE. Gaming Fix Live. And yeah, if you want to reach me by email, you can do it with mellowcello007 at gmail.com. That's MELLOCELLO 007 at gmail.com. And yeah, hit me up with some ideas you might have, or if you want to, just reach out and say hi, feel free.
All right, that is cool. Uh-oh, we are opening the show with a controversial question. Yeah, Idris Elba can play James Bond because English don't mean black or don't mean white, okay? So, best flavor of Mountain Dew. That's not a controversy. There's only one right answer, and that is free. The best flavor of Mountain Dew is the Mountain Dew that somebody else pays for. I don't care if it's Baja Blast or
He's not
original.
wrong, y'all. He's
Hmm?
not wrong.
Right? um, so yeah, I mean, I like Baja Blast. It's the only reason that I ever go to Taco Bell because I am too old to have my 7-layer burritos. But but yeah, free is the best flavor of Mountain Dew. That is indisputable, you know. Um wait, there's a watermelon flavor? Huh.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
A
There
watermelon.
is.
Okay. All right, that's fair. You know, honestly, I think I saw flaming Cheeto flavored Sprite. Which
Ew,
is yeah,
gross.
I know, but
Oh,
yeah, but you
but
know,
why?
because
Ugh.
science is wonderful. Oh, I love that though.
Ugh.
Yeah, oh yeah, flaming Cheeto dude.
Fiery.
Yeah, seriously. Why would you
Ugh.
drink a beverage that burns? I don't know. Why is the best celebrity talk show on the entire market um a show where the celebrities eat torturous hot wings while a dude from Chicago asks them questions in a not German accent because it does seem like a Nazi game. I mean, seriously. So yeah, yeah, you're right. Gingerbread Dew is frightening.
Mm, mm,
I
mm.
mean, I don't know. At risk of sounding not safe for work, gingerbread Mountain Dew sounds like what the gingerbread man from Shrek pees during game session. You know, that's all I'm saying. Like, pardon
Yeah.
me, donkey. I gotta go to the bathroom and refill this 2 liter. You know, I mean, seriously. Yeah, but all joking aside, okay, who am I kidding? We joke about everything. But we have a serious topic to talk about on the show today, and I want to get to it because there are four aspects of this. Four aspects of this subject that I really think need to be rehashed as I put out in the daily hey, we're about to have a show today announcement that I do on all the social media like Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Instagram and
TikTok?
huh? Yes, TikTok.
TikTok?
Tick it talk it is. Tick tock it is. Yeah, that what I don't again, I'm tired. I'm tired all the time, okay? I'm a professional safe for work and wholesome furry, right? My mind ain't right. uh, but one thing I do know is that I suffer from this condition, okay? And the condition is I had parents. I had parents that
Mm.
raised me, okay? And what do I mean by that? I often talk about how society has failed most of the population of the United States days because of the 80s and yuppiedom, we had a rise in middle class people thinking rich, yuppies that were spending more time um, doing lines of white powder and buying mink coats than they were teaching their kids principles and how to interact with. And as much as I sound like an old man yelling at cloud, I see a lot of people between the ages of 30 of 17 and 32 that go, "Oh my god, there are people out there. I can't do it. I can't do it." And the ones I talk to me about how little they know protocols because so many protocols change. And I'm gonna say, yes, now you have a Duran Duran song stuck in your head. Welcome to my world. Because when the sun sets down very heavy behind the front of a dress, all shadowy like. Um, what was I saying? A lot of people don't have a knowing of protocol, and one of the reasons that I've discovered, and something that I've had a problem with in adult life, is that there doesn't seem to be a set of standard protocols when interacting with, especially with gamers. Now, what there does seem to be is a different set of protocols for every gaming group or every new group of people or every social structure that you enter into. And the only common thread that's between these cultures is that everyone who's already there not only comes off as knowing them by heart, but expects you to know what they are as though you grew up in that culture. Okay? Um, I like to say that we live in a series like the world has become a giant stack of, and a lot of folks, as I was saying, um, get out there and they're like, well, how could you not know that? And I'm like, dude, how do you know it? How do you know this particular thing? Where did you learn it? You know, but there were common things. And when I was growing up, and I still have this book on my bookshelf, it is an arcane book. It is a book from way, way, way long time ago. Um, and it was written, I believe, in the 1920s, by a woman named Emily Post. And the book is called Etiquette. And it is the proper way to be a Victorian member of the aristocracy. Come on, that's a funny face. You were just, yeah, it's impossible to make you laugh today. I swear. Careful, I'm gonna pull out the puppet and the googly eyes soon. That's all I'm saying. Hey, do I have the googly eyed puppet around? Anyway. Um, however, there are some standard things, and when I say standard, I mean not stuff that everybody knows or everybody should know, but things that I've found over the course of my life as a gamer and an adult that are universally appreciated when it's done. And that's the stuff we're going to go over today. Like these are the things that you do. Like literally the things that would behoove you to do no matter what part of a gaming group you're part of. You ready for this? Ready for this?
Ba-dum-ba-dum.
Like the camera's been on you for like 4 seconds. I'm like, you ready for this? And you're like, mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm like, is he talking to me? Should I answer?
Yes. Answer. Okay. The less you answer, the more I start sounding like a Southern Baptist preacher, and that is not an invitation for you to go silent.
Okay.
Because if I start sounding like a Baptist preacher, then I'm gonna be like looking for the call and answer. I
Just
said
don't
I'll
be
be looking
part
for
of
that
the-
call and answer. Can I get an amen? Exactly.
Okay.
And I don't want to have that online persona for nothing less than $500 or 500 bits per person that's in the chat that wants to hear me do these impressions. Oh, and we got Roland in the chat. Hallelujah. Testify. Oh, you're killing me out there, man. Wait, so yeah. And so, oh, Call of Cthulhu keeps losing me. Well, that's the internet connection, I think, because everything's coming through. I get on my side, just double check all that. Yeah. Yeah, even mine's like, yeah, no, you're good. And I even watched the show in 720. I am I'm kind of cheap on, but yeah. So anyway, like I was saying, dealing with all that, the dropped Call of Cthulhu. Oh, stop, dude. That's not cool. All right. So,
Can you hear me now?
wait. Can you hear me now? Oh man, I should have got Sprint. All right. So yeah. So one of the things that the common misconception is, especially with a new with I'm not going to say a new breed, but a new batch of younger gamers that are out there, have this impression, especially with tabletop role playing, that they are there to be the main character of their own story, and the GM is there to more take dictation, or in the worst case, the GM is there to entertain them. It's like, well, I've showed up to game, and a lot of these players, I don't want to say that they're bullies, but they inadvertently ask a lot of questions that they blame on ADHD. Um, that the GM is not prepared for. Like, you know, you guys go to the tavern. Oh, cool. How many seats are in there? Who's in the fourth seat on the right? Who is on this? What are they wearing? What's their accent like? And it's like, dude, can I get on with describing the room? You know, you're looking at me aghast. Like you haven't experienced this before?
No, not in game, but in a work setting I have. Um, that's why I was like, I know what you're talking about. It's definitely, you know, something I've seen in person.
Yeah. And Neon Arlecchino, I don't know. Third base. Anyway. Um, so but this idea comes from something we've talked about on the show before, which is the mythologization of expertise. A lot of people hear the term game master and dungeon master and think they went to school for 5 years post high school in order to play this game or any of these
I don't know who would think that. I really don't, but okay.
games. Most people, we have a thing with language in this world, or in at least in American society. But that doesn't mean that the GM does not have responsibilities. Okay? One of the big responsibilities. Um, Thank you, Call of Cthulhu. Um, and so yeah, one of the things that the responsibility of the GM is to make sure that the game is ready and prepped and they have the general questions answered. Okay. Um nice. Thank you so much, Call of Cthulhu. They ended up getting a hold of 2D20 Fallout perk card set. So while they can't hear us right now, they can at least put their perk cards back in the deck. Zing!
Nice, very
Yeah,
nice.
right. Yeah, that's cool. I hope one of those perks are privilege. Anyway, um,
Hmm.
so we made a list of a few things that the GMs and the players, and this is something that I learned a long, long, long time ago. A lot of the times, the GMs don't host games at their own house. Sometimes a player hosts the game that the GM shows up to. And there's a lot of protocols that go in with that. And I put this episode together to point out that all of these games, I don't care if it's a board game, card game, I don't care if it's a poker night, a D&D, a Netflix party, a it's Halloween, let's do some drinking and watch horror movies with our friends because trick or treating is scary because there was COVID out there not long ago. There are protocols involved with every position that is held. Okay? Definite and when I say protocols, I mean following these 8 tips will always be appreciated wherever you go. Okay. And I've tested these, I've done the research. This is how I'm not kicked out of as many houses as I should have been kicked out of over the course of my gaming. And if you don't believe me, take this stuff down, apply it at gaming store, and see what the staff thinks of you. Heck, apply it at a restaurant. Hmm. So yeah, anything to add to that, Heather?
Other than being transferable to real job skills that you have, or interpersonal skills more likely, yeah, take note if you want to improve on that.
Oh, shh! Don't tell him. Don't tell him. We're trying to talk about games. Let's not tell him that this stuff
Uh-oh.
applies in
Oh
real life.
no. Oh no. I let the cat out of the bag. Shit.
Ow. Okay. So one of the first things I always wanted to I want to bring to the table, and this is real. This is real. And a lot of the stuff that we're talking about right now is gonna sound like common sense. All right. However, My mom always said that common sense ain't that common. I live in Southern California, so I always told people that common sense changed about every 20 miles because you're in a whole new city. And but the first thing is respect the home or the venue as if it were yours, right? That's big. Now, I know there are a couple of contrarians out there that are like, well, I don't treat my place all that well, so I'm doing good. And I'm like, yeah, no, no, no. But respect the home as if it were yours. Now, this wasn't my point to bring up. This was actually Heather's point, and we have to add context to it. So I'm gonna turn the camera over to her and ask the question: Whatever do you mean by respect?
Okay, so you remember Charlie Murphy and how Dave Chappelle had him on a show and Charlie not Charlie Murphy,
What
Rick
do the five
James
fingers say to the face?
to the
Ha ha!
face. Don't do the slap. Don't tell no jokes like that. And definitely don't put your feet on their couch.
What do you
No,
mean?
but
Screw
on
your
the
couch. Screw your couch. Get your couch.
definitely none of that. But let's say like you notice that the home is clean, keep it clean. Don't leave trash all over the place. Don't be a pig at somebody else's house. Just be cautious of the fact that be cognizant of the fact that you're in someone else's home, and you should treat it, if you don't treat your home like your own, like it, treat it dirty, nasty, or whatever, not everybody else would appreciate that. So keep in mind that uh, other people want to enjoy the home, as well as the folks who live in the home. They just want to be able to have clean access to a facility, access to a clean facility, and access to a place where they can run their game.
Now, see, I'm glad you brought that up. This is something that people keep in mind when they go to some venues that they pay for, like when they're hosting a game at Denny's, or if they're hosting a game at a friendly local game store where the people behind the counters know your name. You know what I'm talking about. Um, but I want to give a little anecdote here. The dude that introduced you and I, he and I met at a LARP that I was part of for like 17 years. And the host of the LARP and one of the, I think it was like 11 GMs that this LARP had. And it's important that this thing had 11 GMs because there were 122 players in this LARP every other week. And um, the henchmen hated LARP Fridays because 122 people coming to his house, and inevitably, the same nobody that broke dishes and spilled cookies when you were a kid would always overflow the toilet. Who did it? I don't know. It was either I don't know or nobody, but one of those two demons of your childhood would come into the house and overflow the toilet. Every single LARP, every LARP without fail, he would have to pull out the plunger, and it was kind of a really big thing. And of course, the backyard would be trashed, and there was always the cleanup crew, and always the cleanup crew. About 10 or 11 of us that would be at the LARP when everyone else went to Spires or Denny's to eat, to throw away the cans, put the chairs back, and all of those. Um, because I don't care how patient a person is or how much they love it, everyone has a fuse. Everyone. And when time's up, time's up. And if we want to continue to have access to that venue, we have to make sure that venue makes us welcome. Now, as the host, he made sure that there were sodas, that the soda machine was stocked, that there were enough Keurig pods for the crazy people like myself, that there was enough baseline munchies like chips and hot dogs. Um, But fortunately, there were like 2 or 3 chefs and 5 or 6 cooks that were in this LARP that would always bring food and stuff like that. But everybody respected the venue, and that's why the LARP lasted 15 or 16. So that is a fantastic point. I want to thank you for bringing that up, Heather. Now, this next point, okay, this next point I got to bring up because it is equally applicable to players and GMs. And whenever you have your games and get-togethers, someone inevitably fails to do this. And most of the time it's the new players because they don't know that they have the responsibility on this. And that is have your notes ready. Okay, this is a really, really, really important point. A lot of folks think that when you go to a game, the GM has everything. The GM has all the character sheets, has all the backgrounds, all the monsters, all of the notes and all that. And of course, the notes that were taken at the last thing, like people expect the dungeon map of the game to know every aspect of everything that happened in the last 18 games. Okay.
That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, right. Especially the stuff that the players don't want to tell the GMs because they don't trust the GMs to not work their plans. But
There was a time.
mhm.
I'm sorry.
No, no, no.
There
Go
was a
on.
time. Yeah, there was a time when I was gaming with my best friends and someone who I had kind of like been seeing, and the DM, he was the DM. So I kept trying to include a bag of holding in my personable belongings on my character, and he's like, no. And for some reason, I forgot to not write it on there, and I wrote it on there inadvertently, not even thinking. It was just like it was just secondhand uh, out of nature, and I didn't understand why it happened, but we all had a good laugh about it. But yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. Um, Players have a responsibility as well. The notes that I'm talking about, let's take straight up D&D. If the party member, not the GM, but the other player, because the GM is a player too, they're playing the game as well. But if the party has copies of everyone's character sheet, everyone's spell list, and everyone's equipment list, that is one less thing for the GM to keep up with, and it really, really adds mortar to the bricks of party coherency. By the fourth or fifth game session, the players should know, or the players' characters should know each other well enough. And by well enough, I mean they should have an idea of what the rest of the party members can do based on what they've done. They should have the notes of this person's the smart aleck, this person said this person carries this weapon. These are the spells that I've seen come out of this person. Um, Having those there really helps the players become more interactive with the story and not go, wait, what didn't you, wait, I thought there was that, and then all that. Um, and this is something that GMs really appreciate, okay? Because what if dogs still eat homework? What if there's rain? What if there's a notebook that was left in the car that's down a block and a half away because there's no parking and you got to walk down 3 flights of steps to leave the apartment complex to walk that 3 blocks to get the notebook, to walk the 3 blocks back to climb the 3 flights of stairs and then remember everything that happened 2 weeks ago in the last game? you know? So that would be good. One of the ways to do this is for the players to work out somebody who's really good at keeping notes, and for that person to keep notes, and in between sessions, hey, you know what? Hey, bro, can you send me a copy of those notes that you took? We all have cameras. Every single, like, we live in Orwellian's worst nightmare, because we all have cell phones that all have cameras. So take a picture of the notes and freaking text it to the other party members. Um, that way, we can get the game going smoothly and that kind of thing. Grey
I
Ghost is
I
like, yeah,
personally
huh?
I personally can't tell you how many times I've come to game and not had notes and, just relied off of my memory. Bad idea every time. I'm telling you. If you want to know what you're doing in game and who's doing what, take notes. It's not that hard. If you have a problem with trying to take notes because, it actually is hard for you to transcribe, then take Solar's uh solution where you have someone who takes notes. If you want to, I wouldn't say, make it a whole like thing where it's like, you have a president and a vice president, but you could have a secretary, someone who would act
Hear,
as like
hear,
a secretary.
ye. I do declare that our rogue successfully picked 4 locks and got us into the prison. It has been written, so mote it be. Yeah, no, you don't need that guy. you know. Um Now, I mean, that is, and again, a lot of these things seem like common sense, but they're only common if you've been gaming as long as, say, Grey Ghost, Call of Cthulhu, Cthulhu, myself. Yeah, these things are common sense because we had to learn them, and it's definitely one of those things. This is one that is really big on me, and this is straight out of the book of Southern hospitality. This is if you are the GM, you are the player, you are at someone else's house, someone else is at your house. This is one of the biggest things. If people want to see me get an attitude, and I mean like my language gets kind of colorful and people are like, "Stop threatening me." And I'm like, "I'm not threatening you. I'm saying if you continue with these actions, these consequences will befall you. I don't make threats, I make promises." And I'm talking straight out of the rules of Southern hospitality. Do not insult the best that someone has to offer. Now, I am I live in Southern California. Southern California is really high level middle class, but everyone thinks they're poor until they find somebody that has less money than them. Then they call them lazy. Okay. And I grew up, not just grew up, but most of my adult life. I'm hurting for work. I'm in between gigs. I'm catching up on bills and I'm not in front of anything. But when someone shows up to game and they have a bunch of snacks or something, you know, there's always that person in the room that's like, well, I appreciate what you brought, but those chips aren't organic. But it was a sweet gesture. It's just, And they say it to the person that doesn't have any money. And I'm just kind of going, okay, guess what? No thank you was well enough, but making a production. Yes, the NIMBY toxicity of Orange County subreddit is quite a sight to see. Um, but when a person is like, this is what I have to offer because I can't afford anymore, be gracious about it, you know? Um, yeah, you think that that person doesn't last long at the table, Roland, but I can tell you stories, man. There did come a time where a lot of people thought I was bitter because I was the guy that was always being angry at that person. You know? I'm like, that person doesn't have the same job you do. And they don't have much, but they take whatever little they have and they slice off a piece of it to give to you to say thank you. And you're spitting in their damn face. That's not cool. That's not the action of a friend. And honestly, you were showing me that I had really, really bad judgment in thinking that you were better than that. And I've let's say there's a lot of people that don't like me, but a lot of the time someone will offer up their place to host a game, and it might not be the cleanest, or it might not be in the best neighborhood or something like that. But it's all a person has. You don't have to take it, okay? You don't have to take the best they got, but you don't got to talk crap on it either. You know, I mean that's a really um, I mean yeah, that thank you, Grey Ghost. Like They're vegan. They can eat most things people bring, but they're always, they can't eat most. Like, thanks, I'm a vegan, but you know what? Good looking out. And that's really all that has to be said, you know. Um in a lot of the places I've gone, especially with younger people who grew up in the middle class, um they do this pregnant uncomfortable pause because they're not just saying no. They're saying no because what is being offered is, and that's really not cool because it's essentially saying that your best is not as good as my mediocre, so don't even. And it's really not cool. It's really insulting, and it's the act of talk to me, Heather. Give the people something on this.
Um, that's rude as hell. I'm sorry. Yeah,
This is why I
don't
like
do
having
that.
you on the line. I'm like, don't. It's all this and this. And you're like, it's rude as hell. Mm-hmm. Your mama should have raised you better than that. Oh, you know.
Yeah, that's like the ultimate slap in the face. I think if you're invited to somebody else's house and that you come over and you know they offer you Kool-Aid. It may not be grape Kool-Aid or orange Kool-Aid like it was your favorite, but you don't have to turn your nose up at something somebody's offering you. That's awful, man. Like I'd probably never invite that person back to my house if that happened. Like, oh well, if that's the case, don't ever come back here.
Oh, I will tell you, there's a lot of people that I've told not to come back to my house ever. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people are just like, well, I didn't mean to be rude. I'm like, that's what makes it worse. If there was malicious intent behind it, I could confront you on that, but you're just showing your nature. And I'm sorry that I'm not
Mm-hmm.
as good as you are because I grew up poor due to systemic racism, bad economics, a whole bunch of stuff. Because I've got more college degrees than you do, which means I'm more qualified for probably the job that you're doing. Um, but this goes all the way across the board. I have had some of the best times in trailer parks. And you know what? Sometimes a Frito pie is all they had to give. But you know what? That Frito pie was the best flavor of Frito pie it ever had been. And that flavor is free and offered genuinely. Okay? Real talk. I know. Best Ash on Twitch. Now you start talking. I mean, right? Yeah, no, I'm with all y'all. All right. Like I said, I grew up in the hood, which means I'm a Southern boy with tennis shoes. So yeah, no, Frito pie. That's a hill I'll die on. All right, just like I'll die on
Ain't
chili on
nothing wrong
spaghetti.
with
Huh?
Ain't nothing wrong with a little Frito pie and
Yeah,
some chili and spaghetti, man. That's
yeah,
that's a new dish right there.
yeah, bruh. You know, Frito pie and chili Fritos, bruh. That's the whole thing. And a lot of people are like,
Man,
"Well,
I'll
I
tell
don't
you.
know. I don't want to eat that. That's just so bad for you." And that. I'm like, "You ain't got to eat it. But if you go and open your mouth and not put this chili Fritos in your mouth, I don't want to hear no bad stuff about it coming out of your mouth. All right."
My mom and my grandma used to say they must not be hungry enough. Because you get hungry enough, you'll eat just about anything. You will.
Are you sure we're not related? No, Mama, I don't like that. I don't want to eat that. Well, you ain't hungry enough. All right, you ain't got to eat because you ain't eating nothing else.
Right?
2 days later, can I have a little piece of that Frito pie?
Can I have some, please? I just want some.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously. It's like, man, you ain't hungry enough. So yeah. But a lot of people are like, and this goes across the board. If you're a GM and there is a new player that wants their hand at GMing, don't look for story tropes. Don't metagame. Don't tear apart their thing. They're doing the best that they can. And I'm going to put this out there because a lot of folks need to hear it. And again, If what I say offends you, send all emails to backinthedeck@gmail.com. But here's the thing. It ain't your job to make them better unless they ask. All right? That's a really big thing. I know a lot of people that are like, no, I give people crap to make sure that they get better so that they're good. And I'm like, did they ask you to do
No.
that? No, they didn't ask you to do it. You just took it upon yourself, and that's bullying, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I'm real big on that because there's a lot of veteran gamers, being GMs or players, that I look at it through this filter. Most people in the 21st century in America don't know how great they are, okay? Because we have so few rites of passage. You know, there's not a ceremony at work that gets celebrated once you're good at your job. Um, when you get mastery, mastery is something that sneaks up on you. You know, you might notice it one day, but chances are you've been there for weeks, months, years. And a lot of people have this idea that the way that they learn something is is the only way that it exists. You know, it's like, I'm not going to use Plato's allegory of the cave. I like to use ice cream flavors. A person has only ever had Neapolitan, so they think that chocolate on its own doesn't exist. It's always with vanilla and strawberry. And then the moment somebody hands them Cherry Garcia or fish food or pistachio, they're like, this isn't ice cream. It's like, no, it is ice cream. It's just a different flavor and it's just as good as everything that you've liked. But you got to give them a chance to have their own flavor. But a lot of people um, take the best that a person can do, compare it to the best that they've ever had, um, and look at the best that they ever had and set that new standard. I despise that. I truly despise it because it makes the new person feel bad and it makes the more experienced person look not insightful. Okay. Hey man, y'all are talking about fish food. That's my jam. Okay, that Jimmy's my jams.
Mm.
Okay, that yeah, fish food. I'm all that. Um, but yeah, so it's definitely one of those things of the person that's doing it for the first time, is doing their best. And if you're willing to accept the best that someone has to offer without judgment, or rather condemnation, you might find something new in their best that you like better than what you're used to. And I don't care if it's a player or a GM or a venue. You know, I used to host an Innomine game at this place in Orange County, California called Earl's. It was open 24 hours and it had a covered patio. And I could host my games there and I could smoke while I did it. And the food was terrible. The ambiance was terrible. The service was terrible. But the fact that the people that worked there loved that we hosted role playing games, was genuinely interested in what we were doing, and had a good time and looked forward to us being there, that was a great offer. And it wasn't at a friend's, you know, it wasn't at someone's nice condo with central air or soft couches and stuff like that. But it was a good experience because there's something good to be brought out in everything. So, yeah, do not insult the best offer. I had it at that game because my roommate, who I was living with, didn't want 5 or 6 people in the house. And I'm like, okay, you know what? It's your house. And you're only charging me $150 rent. I'm not gonna put that in danger. Now, our next point is one that you brought up, and I wanted to add a caveat to that. So,
Oh, a caveat.
yes, a
Ooh.
caveat. Ooh, we have caveats, you know. I
Mm.
like little French names. Oh, we have a caviar. Yes, we have caviar. But the primary point on that one is back to the land of common sense almost. Be punctual and communicative. I'm going to leave that up there real bit. Coming from the guy who's late hosting almost every show. um, all right. All right. Yeah. See, I'm glad you guys can pause stuff, but yeah, be punctual and communicate. Now, Heather, why'd you bring up being punctual?
Let's see now. You don't want to waste your time lollygagging, doing God only knows what, trying to get to the game and not communicating with your GM or the person who's hosting the game. Because that wastes their time. It wastes other players' time, and it's not really respectful. So generally, if you know you're going to be late and you know how many minutes you're going to be late, okay, Google Maps been out for a while. It's been out for a while. I'm just going to say that. You should know when you're going to arrive. And update people, keep people in the loop. It doesn't help anyone when you don't tell anyone that you're gonna be late or you're not gonna show up, if they're waiting on you. So don't be that guy that everybody's waiting on. Jeez, what time is it? Is this guy gonna get here? I want to play.
I got two things on that. Number one, what's up, Prism Effect? I couldn't have written your timing better. As soon as I put be punctual and communicative on screen, he's like, so am I late? Oh man. Yeah, I mean that my god, mwah, mwah. All right, chef's kiss on that one. That was amazing. Also shout out to Miss Moose a lot. I have missed you. I really have. I'm serious. Missed the hell out of you, and I don't mean with every bullet so far. I want to see your face. I want to see your face. I got Wonder Woman stuff for you. And damn it, Heather, you stepped on my caveat. You know that?
Oh,
Yeah, you did. I know my
I'm
caveat was actually
sorry.
part of the thing. Because you were like, yes, be punctual. And I'm like, good, yes, be on time, be punctual. And I'm like, and communicative. Because here was the thing. Here is the thing. Well, you can't miss my face. It's right here. You're looking at it. What's up? One of the things that I'm really big on, and I used to get into this with someone in my life for a long time. They were never on time. And one, I didn't learn how to drive until I was 30, which means I learned two major things. Okay, two major things. Because I took public transportation until I was 30, at least legally. um, we're in Southern California. Everybody drives dirty at one point or another. Somebody gets their license suspended. Oh, sometimes you get your license suspended and you don't know, so you're driving around without a license. It's just one of these things that happens here. Um, but I always had to ride the bus. When LA finally got their trains, I was on the first one. And when you ride the bus, ride the train, it don't wait for you. If you ain't on it, it's gone. You waiting for the next one. So I'm real big on punctuality. Um, and I get that life happens because you don't make every bus. All right. That's one of the things I learned from public transportation. The other is patience. Because I don't care how you feel or how over it you are, that bus is getting there when it gets there, not when you feel like it. But that's a different show. um, but yeah, but the communicative part, that's the big thing. Um, I have always lived a life where any excuse to fire me or exclude me was enough to fire me or exclude me. So if the bus was late, that's a reason to fire me. I should have left earlier, yada yada yada. Right? So when I deal with people, it's very much you don't have to be there at exactly the time you say. My request is if you're going to be late, call, text, email, DM, Discord, um, Facebook, TikTok,
Tweet,
Instagram, Messenger pigeon that you're telling me.
Twitter,
Yeah, exactly.
tweet.
Communicate with me
Say
in some
something.
way that you're going to be late as soon as you know you're going to be late. Because we always know when we're going to be late, except for one circumstance, two technically. The first circumstance is accidental, and that's when it starts at 2 and you think it starts at 3. Okay. Um, but the other circumstance is when you wake up and you're already late. And every person here who has had a job, if you clock in at 9, there have been those days where you slept through your alarm and you woke up at 9:12. You just
Hell, it
open your eyes.
happened to me this past weekend for WonderCon. I slept and got a phone call. Got woken up by a phone call. I was like, "Where are you?" I'm in bed. I gotta go.
It's like,
It
no, I'm on my
happens.
way. Yeah, I'm on my way right now. Yeah, no, 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 I'm in traffic. Yeah, that is it. Like, that's funny because the echo in your traffic sounds like you're in the bathroom. No, no, it's just I got a really big car. you know. But yeah, but other than waking up and you're already late, um, call people and let them know. Send them even Neon Arlecchino is like smoke signal, you know. And you can send me a smoke signal. I will see it because I will try to inhale it. But yeah, just let the people know that you're late because I spent some time on the dark side of the internet. And one of the places that I spent some time with is the manosphere because I wanted to know what those idiots were. And yeah, I'm calling that out. Again, all emails at back in the deck at gmail.com, all that stuff. But they were like, yeah, one of the alpha moves, alpha dogging or power plays, is showing up intentionally late and saying, thank you for waiting on me. And I'm like, yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
that's
seriously.
rude as hell.
Right? And I know when I'm running a game or I'm hosting a game day or something, um, I made like when we were headed out to when we were headed out to Ready Set Games. I'm like, I'll be there at 5. And you saw me texting while driving, caught up in traffic on the 91. I will be there soon. And when we walked in, they were already playing games, but they knew we were still, you know. And that's super important, you know, because my great grandmama used to tell me a man has only got one thing in this world, and that is his word. And if his word is no good, then he is no good. Because the one thing that he has after everything else is gone is all he is. And I'm like, I don't know what you mean, Grandma. Can I finish watching Reading Rainbow? And but yeah, but she was right, you know. Not everybody's gonna be perfect. Okay. People are gonna be late. Life happens. My second trip to San Francisco that I ever took on a whim, the dude that was supposed to drive ended up late picking us up because on the way there was an accident because a motorcycle cop pulled over a guy, was having his car impounded, and he needed a flatbed truck. And once the car was on the truck, another driver accidentally swerved to the side of the road, hit the cop, knocked him into the flatbed truck, and decapitated him. So the entire freeway was closed down for 3.5 hours.
Holy crap, man.
Yeah, yeah. Real talk. Okay, it's like yeah. Fortunately, he had a cell phone, and this was in 2001. So we're talking, you know, even then it was a thing. And he's like, yeah, guys, I'm gonna be a little late because it looks like a motorcycle cop got decapitated on 5. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Like, you can just say you overslept, bro.
It's so unbelievable. It's believable.
You know, and I'm just like, okay, you know what? I've seen worse. All right. I mean, seriously, it's a real thing. And but he let us know. So you know what I did? I took a nap so I could be awake for the whole trip to San Francisco because we were supposed to leave at 7, but he couldn't get down to where we were in San Bernardino until 9. You know, because again, cop dead, freeway. That's a thing, and that was cool. You know, whenever I'm running late for anything, I let people know as soon as I know that I'm going to be late. You know, and when you are going somewhere where there are other people waiting on you, like a game, if you're the GM, it can't start without you because you're running the game. So that gives your players time to know, hey, you know what? Let's play some Magic while we're waiting for the GM, or let's pull out Settlers of Catan. You know, um, excuse me. Oh yeah, guy jumped on. Yeah, yeah, real talk. Black and white now in color. Yeah, seriously. somebody jumped in front of a train. It happens, you know. So life does happen, and weirdness happens. And we don't have any control over the weirdness, but we do have control over whether or not we communicate with the people that are counting on us. And if you are part of a group, a gaming group, game night, D&D group, study group in school, something on a work project, you are on that team for some reason, and everybody there is counting on you. I know some younger people are like, what does it matter if I'm late for work? It matters a whole lot to the person who clocks out when you clock in. Do they have to
What
pick up their
about your
kid?
paycheck?
Huh?
What about your paycheck?
Well,
That matters, right?
a lot of people don't care about that, but I'm like, guy,
Oh my
you
God,
know,
no.
that person that has to clock out, they might have to go pick up their kid from school or from daycare,
That's true.
or,
Very
there
true.
might be a kid standing on the street waiting for their dad who couldn't get off of work because somebody was like, well, it doesn't matter if I'm late for work, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's lives are intertwined when you're in a group. You're in a group, all of that stuff, like what you do affects others, whether or not you know or intend for your consequences or for your actions to affect others. And that really is that's a real truth. So just be communicative. Hey, I'm running late. This is why. You know, um, and that at least lets people make plans around, opposed to sitting vapor locked, wondering if you're still going to come, wondering if you got decapitated because somebody else's car got impounded, just a whole bunch of things, you know. Oh, that's a big thing in security. Yeah, because again, um, when you're invited to be part of a group for work or fun, you participate in the um in the making of that. So never forget that. Now, our next our next thing, and this is really important. Okay, this is a really important point, and this is something that I brought up. It kind of goes with our second point, but it goes a little deeper, right? And that is familiarize yourself with the context. Okay, that is huge. All right, now, what do I mean by such a meta message with such jargon? It's simple. All right, you're joining a gaming group, and they're running a game. You don't just need to know the game mechanics. You don't just need to know the combat system or whatever. You should also know the context of the game. And a lot of folks join games after session zero. I can't tell you how many sci-fi games I've run with someone who heard I was running a game using the fifth edition system and made a fantasy character. I can't tell you how many times I have made characters for games and the GMs didn't let me know the context. I was all out. Like, what kind of thing are you doing? Are you playing a game that's hyper realism, where if you're not from that country, you're going to be stripped of your title, your rank, all your stuff is going to be stolen, and you're going to be thrown in prison in session one? Then that's something that should be known when the person is creating the character. Is this a hardcore sci-fi game where most of the sessions are going to take place on the ship in transit because traveling through space takes a long time? You know, I
You might
mean,
want to know if there's something like cybernetics in the game because that will affect things like combat or your ability, your mobility in general.
exactly. Being familiar with the context of the situation is huge. I know I've had a lot of interesting places. One of the places that I didn't know the context, I was in a pickup game for Roaming Dragon, and the GM thought I was being funny with the wacky stuff that I did, and he thought that I was bringing too much comedy into his horror game. And in truth, I wasn't doing anything to be funny. I was literally just playing doing the stuff I thought made sense. Like
Mm-hmm.
This was the campaign where my wizard um put a sleep spell on a dire badger. And when we got past that, he was a conjuration wizard, so he used his conjuration thing, put the dire badger in a cage. And since we were going into underground cavern that was full of goblins, he pushed the badger in the cage into the goblin hole after slapping up the badger a little bit to make him mad, and he he dispelled the cage because he was a wizard with 13 hit points. So if they're going into a dungeon with a bunch of goblins, I'm like, I'm gonna throw a dire badger down there because we have one. I wasn't trying to be funny. It just made sense. But I didn't
Mm-hmm.
realize that the GM had planned out this whole thing. And he wanted to make it more of a horror atmosphere, like Exorcist meets Cthulhu thing. And then here comes the wizard saying, "I'm gonna throw a badger at it," So it kind of threw him off and let him he had to readjust a lot. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, I didn't know that you were trying to
Uh,
run a dark game. You know,
I think that the GMs need to understand that they should be prepared for anything and everything that their players throw at them, because if especially in like a free roaming atmosphere type of game where it's like you can come up with whatever character you think you can think of and everything is pretty much negotiable. You might want to set some boundaries as a GM and as a player.
well, in all fairness, this was a pickup game. He was a new GM, and he made the mistake of thinking that because he didn't know me, I must be new too. He didn't realize that I'd been playing D&D longer than he had literally been alive. So he wasn't prepared for AD&D tricks. He wasn't prepared for a wizard that's like, I don't get into combat. Are you kidding? I got 1d4 hit points. I'm casting Ray of Enfeeblement, then I'm hiding, and then after the fight, I'm taking a nap. That's what we're doing. You know, but yeah, so again, but I didn't understand the context that he wanted to run a dark and serious kind of Ravenlofty type game. And again, my wizard, who has a nice attitude because I don't play edgy characters at first. So I'm a jolly wizard who smiles a lot, who threw a badger at an army of goblins. Um, when you say it out loud, of course it's hilarious. But that wasn't my intention. And I didn't see the context that he was trying to set up, and he didn't know the context of who I was. So the two assumptions, my assumption that I was playing a straight D&D game, his assumption that I was new, blinded us to the context of what either of us were trying to do. And he would have had a lot better of a time if I had understood the context of what he was trying to bring out. You see what I'm saying?
Mm, yeah.
You know, I mean, I inadvertently made his time less cool because I didn't understand the context. So,
Mm.
familiarize yourself with the context. This also falls in line with learning the rules of the game, learning more of the setting. Um, I know I've gamed with a lot of people who just assume everyone knows. And it does get on my nerves because they'll talk to me about these gaming worlds. And the gaming worlds are really familiar with them. So they'll be talking about places on the maps, languages, and species. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. I haven't read the book yet. I can't afford to buy it. you know? And I'm like, yeah, you play World of Warcraft. I can't afford an account. So I don't know where that city is and who's this Arthas? That's where I'm at. Um so when all players at the table are familiar with the lore, context of the game rules, the basic mechanics, and the kind of environment that everyone wants to cultivate, everything goes better. This is a really fancy way of saying read the room, but I don't like saying that because where do you learn how to read the room? So being communicative and finding out exactly what you're getting into is your thoughts?
I concur. It's very important to read all the material, and it's also very important to read able to read the room. Now I say this as a person who hasn't actually read all the books for D&D or World of Darkness or any of that, and
You
yet I've jumped
sicken
into
me.
games.
You've not
Oh
read the
no,
51 books of Dungeons and Dragons? You don't know
I've
anything.
disappointed I've disappointed my godfather. Oh no.
You come to me asking about games, but you don't read the materials. I don't know. I try my best to not be a fool. So I read the books. I read the materials. So when I'm running game, I know what I'm talking about. But I always wanted you to be the GM. You know? GM Heather, storytelling Heather, something. Just when the time came, you would be the one with the GM screen, rolling the dice. Oh no. Wasn't enough time, Heather. Wasn't enough time. So
Your godfather impressions always crack me up. But yeah,
I
I
like that
just
movie an unhealthy amount. Like really, unhealthy. Like I love The Godfather, and I laugh at The Exorcist. Yeah, did I mention I missed my therapy appointment today? But yeah, but yeah.
well, I
So
hope you reschedule.
I did.
Okay. Okay.
So, but yeah. So I mean, seriously. So familiarizing yourself with the context is a really big thing. And all of these things can be done in between games, you know, really, really in between games. So, like, you know, if I join the LARP that I've been reinvited to, I'm going to have to familiarize myself with Fading Suns instead of, you know, assuming that I know what the game is going to be like just because I know all the players, you know? And I do, and I know what their playing styles are, but I don't know I don't know the galaxy map. I've been studying Espergenesis for the past 2 years. You know, so I mean, these are really important things. Yeah, I know, Roland, but some of my people are doing a Fading Suns LARP, bro. I know it's a deep cut. That's why you come here. That's why you come to this channel. We're not just gamers. We are deep cut gamers. Deep, deep cut.
Rolling in the deep.
Seriously, man. Like I can bring up Torg, huh? Torg, huh? You know, we can play member member Torg. I member Torg. Yeah, that's right. Mixed moves a lot. We are nerds. Shatter Zone, yeah, yeah. And I'm not even gonna start talking about riffs until I can get my riffs expert on here. But he's got like 4 kids, but he still pays for everything Palladium all the time. Um, so yeah, yeah, it's but our final point, right? Our final point, and this is big. Now, this is gonna sound like me being old man staring at clouds, all right? But it's not just because of one tool that people have. And Heather brought this one up, and I'm like, absolutely, yeah, we gotta put this on the list. And that this next point again, so big that I even use different font type stuff is be engaged with the activities. Be engaged. Okay? Seriously. Even if you don't think you're interested, be engaged anyway. Primarily because people took yeah. See, Roland, I wasn't gonna go there. I wasn't gonna go immediately there. But I'm not just talking about put down your phone, okay? I'm not just saying that. I'm saying so many games I've been with where people are like, well, I want to play this system, but the group is playing this system. So they phone in their play. You know, they don't learn the context. They show no desire to learn the context. Or my particular favorite, as my grandma used to say, they're so busy knowing that they don't have room to learn, you know. But yeah, be engaged with the activities. I played D&D with someone, friend of mine's ex-wife, who was on her computer for the entirety of a D&D game when it wasn't her turn in combat, which meant unless it was her turn in combat, she didn't give a damn about anyone else's role play, what was going on in the plot, all that other stuff. But then when combat came up, she could shine, she could win, and then she was just gone. And she took up an entire love seat by herself. I'm just like, dude, really? Um, but having them at the game didn't enhance the experience. The GM put all this work into running a Greyhawk campaign, and this person just wasn't engaged. They just didn't care, you know. And I get that if a person uses gaming as a way to interact with their friends, but there's also context. Um, I kind of came up with this subject after looking at my TikTok, and somebody was talking about interactions politically. And it came down to a lot of people need to learn how to be a guest in someone else's space. Okay. Um, when a group gets together, you guys form the space together, everybody's space. But since it is everyone's space, yes, it is yours. It is your space. It's also their space. So you're both host and guest simultaneously. And a guest has responsibilities of courtesy, just as a host has responsibility. Um, so when it comes to being engaged with the activities that are happening, if you don't like the game, be engaged with it anyway. You might find something that you like. I can't tell you how many times I've hung out with friends and we were supposed to like play a board game, and they'll pull out a board game and someone in the room will just leave. They won't leave the apartment. They'll just go sit on the couch and just ignore everyone and not interact with anything until the thing that they're not interested in is over. And I'm like, dude, really? You know? And you want me to engage with you, but you're letting me know through your behavior that you'll only engage with me on your terms. And there's no room for what I like unless you already like it. And that's just not cool. Yeah, and thank you, Prism Effect. Yeah, this is my world, but it's your story. So yeah, everybody has a thing. Heather, talk to me.
Yeah, along those lines, I definitely just want to say that uh, folks put these games together, and it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of energy. In a lot of instances it takes money too. That being said, you don't necessarily want to come off as somebody who isn't appreciative of the efforts that that person is trying to make. So it behooves you to be engaged in the game. Not only that, because you're showing appreciation for the game that's being laid out before you, but it also helps you be prepared. Again, we definitely want you to have your notes with you, but if you're not looking over your notes or know what your character can do before the game starts and know what the other players can do after the game ends, then why are you gaming exactly? What are you doing exactly to, um, you know, pass the time? Yeah, are you passing the time just sitting there waiting, or are you like actively engaged in listening to what the other players have to say? I know it seems like, oh, this is so dull, or it's not easy trying to be cheesy. No, I'm kidding. It's not easy trying to play a game with multiple people. Like if you have three or more players at a table, yeah, things can get a little bit mixed up, but that's exactly why you need to be engaged, so that you can tell the difference between what character did what hero did what, who was the one to first take initiative, why didn't I get initiative, things like that. But it's also important too, because it's a matter of respect. That's what it all boils down to at the end of the day. We don't want to be labeled as that player who's not respectful of everyone's time, not respectful of your own time, or respectful of the host and the GM's time. So that's really what it boils down to in the end, is just, respecting the place, respecting time, respecting, other people and their time as well.
You know why I keep having you on this show?
No.
Because you have an uncanny and just preternatural talent, one would say. Yes, preternatural talent. You know why? Because
Mm-mm.
your entire diatribe right there segues exactly into our final point. Respect personal space and boundaries. I mean, see, I don't know if you planned that or what, but yeah, I mean that was brilliant, just brilliant. Oh my God, you're just like respect, 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 and the next point, respect, respect. Seriously, you planned that, didn't you? Didn't you? You're
No,
joshing me right now. You're having a laugh.
I'm not joshing you.
Now you're
Look,
having a
I
laugh. I
have
think
no
you're.
notebook papers, no
Oh
nothing.
yeah, you can
No.
do this all you want. Nobody sees what's out frame. I have nothing up my sleeve. I don't. Oh look, magic coffee. Oh, I mean, really? Seriously?
Oh no, I had my magic coffee earlier this morning. It's definitely gonna do the trick.
And no, I don't got nothing. No, seriously, seriously. Yes, respecting personal space and boundaries. Okay. Um, this is a thing we talked about it a lot yesterday. Respecting personal space and people's boundaries. Now, that of course is a two-way street. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! just stop it. It's not. I'm not putting you back under your bridge. It's just too good, and you're distracting me, man. Neon Arlecchino is just like RESPCT. Tell you what it means to me. show up, show up on time. No sheath. And I'm like, oh, stop it, stop it. Be
Thank
polite and
you.
bring stuff to eat. Suck it to me, suck it to me, suck it to me, suck it to me, suck it to me. Oh yeah. Seriously. Just all right, fine. You get the prize. All right, you get the prize for today. You are the most clever. All right. Let me just leave and give you my show. Damn. Oh no, wait. You're at your day job, and I'm at mine, so I still win. So yeah, I mean seriously. Respecting someone's personal boundaries and personal space. This was the thing brought up by the black woman and by the dude with different colored dreadlocks, because this is one of those things where it comes into you touch my hair, I'm touching you somewhere. And it's like, oh my God, your hair is just like, and I'm like, do it, go ahead, do it, touch my hair, touch my hair. Um, you're laughing, but I make that very clear. I'm like, you touch my hair, you're getting goosed. One of those two, and they're like, oh no, I can't believe. I'm like, what, you think you can just lay your hands on me all you want? So if we're gonna be touching all up on each other, then we're gonna be touching all up on each other. Okay. It's not my fault you picked my hair to grope.
All I have is the scene from Blazing Saddles where the saloon girl is
Look,
trying
man,
to get
you're
all
sucking
the
on my arm. Okay. I know
right.
what you're thinking, and it's twoo. It's twoo. Oh, but yeah, I mean, yeah, but seriously, um, this is really big, especially for LARPs, because there's so much cosplay. Really, so much cosplay. It doesn't matter what people are wearing. You can't just go up and be like, "Ooh, I love your coat." Oh my God, that is a great outfit. You're like showing all your skin. Can I get a hug? No, stop it. Okay. But I know you Deckers are not like the Deckers that are here. I know y'all ain't like that. But this is just a really big overall thing. And here's the gig on that, Deckers. In this case, silence is violence. All right. If somebody is like, oh my God, I want to touch her hair, it is our responsibility as Deckers to be like, can they grab your butt? Well, no, I didn't. What makes you think that you can go up and just touch somebody? It's our responsibility to be like, not enforce, but to remind people that sometimes their behavior, although normalized, is rude. If somebody says, hey, I got soda or something, and someone's like, oh, I only drink LaCroix. It is up to us as Deckers to go, dude, this is the best they got. Okay. Because yeah, well, seriously, had somebody, what are you covered in fur? Like, do you purr? Like Black and White Now in Color is like, I had some lady pet me. I'm like, do you purr? Are you behind a cage, like waiting for people to pick you up or something? It's I mean, if you are, I don't shame. I'm just saying, but he pet you because yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that like, you know, I don't believe in, I don't believe in inconsistent consent. You know, when I'm dealing with kids and the parents are like, "Oh no, go up and hug your auntie." I'm like, "Don't make them hug their auntie. If they don't want to hug somebody, don't make them hug somebody. Draw a line at shaking hands.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
set those good boundaries. And when somebody sets a boundary, respect the boundary, if even if you don't understand it. And I'm not saying don't question it. I'm saying question, understand. Don't question to tear down. A person's boundary is a person's boundary. You know, I have an old friend who she had a house, and the house had two bathrooms. Okay, my God, I'm like, I realize I'm that old man with all these stories. But her house had two bathrooms, and the most convenient bathroom was what she called the bathroom in service of the goddess. Rule was when you use, I'm not joking, okay? And the rule was when you use this bathroom, you always sat down on the toilet. Didn't matter what set of plumbing you were born with, you sat down when you used that bathroom. And I'm like, yeah, you do a lot of alpha games. I'll wait. Or I'll use the bathroom that's not so convenient and I'll wait until that one is free because I got a thing about I don't like sitting on toilets that don't have a deep bowl, and this one didn't have a deep bowl. So, but the one in the bathroom or the bathroom in the other bathroom, it was there. So I waited. Hey, Daniel. Um, and yeah, but I didn't question her boundaries. I didn't tear it down. I simply didn't use that bathroom. That was her room. It was her house, and that was it. I didn't agree with it. I didn't like it, but I was in her house and I respected that. Just like with the story I told you guys yesterday about a stranger coming up and slapping me. Though that person broke the rules of the host, I wasn't going to break the rules of the host by throwing that person into the bonfire. Okay? Um, being respectful of someone else's space, someone else's boundaries, is not always easy. However, the person who slapped me is no longer in those people's lives, and because I'm respectful of people's boundaries and I understand when a person is doing the best that they can with what they got. And all of these things that we put there is essentially everything we've gone over today with these protocols on being a good guest, being a good host, is to level the proverbial playing field, you know? And when I say the proverbial playing field, I mean to not turn stuff that we do with other people into a struggle for power. Okay. The guest is just as equal as the host, which means they have responsibilities of being a good guest, and the host has a responsibility to be a good host. Like when you are hosting something and you know that people have eating restrictions, if you're providing snacks, make sure that that person can get some. You know, if there's a vegan there, bring some hummus via Neon Arlecchino. you know, if there's I have friends from all walks of life and all religions. So when my Muslim friends show up with my Hindu friends, um, and my eating restrictions, we're having vegetables because one can't eat pork, one can't eat chicken, I can't eat chicken, one can't eat beef. So we're having fish and vegetables. I mean, it's really one of those things, just to make sure that everyone is respected and considered. You know, um, and when we're all in a game, and a lot of newer players don't get this until they GM for the first time. And I can tell you, so many players that I've taken through their first role playing games have come back to me after being a GM for the first time and going, I am so sorry. I didn't realize I was being that guy, but now I have a table with three of those guys. I'm like, and how did I interact with you? I mean, have you GM'd yet, Heather?
I've been a GM once,
Okay.
and yeah, my experience is that I didn't run the game like I would have wanted to or would have liked to have been thought of as afterwards. Um, I kind of like God moded a bit, but and then added things that weren't ever in part of the lore at all, and that was because I didn't, prepare. So, with that being said, it's just be prepared, be nice, be respectful. That's all I gotta say about it.
Yeah. So again, I'm looking through. Wow, yeah, the hair thing really got off. We got Gray Ghost. Gray Ghost must be in an interracial relationship. Let's see. Oh God, I go through the hair thing all the time between the wife's colors and the girl's curls. Right? That's a
Hmm.
real thing right there. Oh yeah, Roland, a chick rub your bald head. Yeah, wanted to cut her arm off. Again, personal boundaries. Um, when it comes to stuff like this, I don't have the golden rule. I have Solar's rule. And Solar's rule isn't do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Because I've known a lot of bad faith actors. Okay. My rule is do unto others as you would have them do unto your children. If if someone acted toward your kids the way that you are acting towards someone else, would you want to punch them? um, I don't care if you're a mom, dad, grandma, yeah, just no, you don't do that to my kid. And I see people are more protective of children than they are themselves. Um, and that's the whole thing. So it's like respect someone's personal boundaries. If a person in your gaming group has ideological differences, don't talk about those ideological differences when it comes to being in a game. Um, because you're there to
It'll start
game.
the fight sooner than yeah, it'll start the fight sooner than you're all anticipating.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to agree on stuff, but um, respecting people doesn't mean being just like them. It means holding space that everybody can be around. And as far as being a guest goes, that also means making sure that you can hold a space that everybody else is there. And I brought up this subject today because I've seen way too often too many individuals and groups constantly fighting for their comfort at the expense of everyone else. And that shrinks our community. Okay. And when our community shrinks, that is when we stop getting good content. I mean, like good games or advertising for good games. We lose out on really amazing experiences like Fire Team Zero, the board game, Five Parsecs from Home, the tabletop minis game, Traveler, role playing, or Cult, or God, there's just so many games and stuff out there. Excuse me, and so many more that are out there because there are so many awesome creators and creative people. And yeah, Roland, that is something that society as a whole has forgotten. But it is up to we individuals out there to keep that fire of knowledge burning. If society as a whole has forgotten something, that doesn't mean individually we have as well. And if enough of us do it, if enough of us spread these words and bring these protocols of being kind to people and being considerate and cultivating fun, that will change the world in a couple of generations. You know, um, anything to add to this, Heather?
Um, no, you've pretty much said everything I would have said.
Well, okay. I gotta stop doing that then. She's looking at me like, "Why do you want me as a co-host if you're just gonna say everything I'm gonna say?" I'm like, "Because you're
No.
prettier than me." Yeah, that works. Yeah. um, but yeah. So honestly, I want to thank you guys for showing up. We have a lot of people watching, and I am so grateful to you guys for spreading the word. And the channel is growing, and I'm really, really, really appreciative of that. And big shout outs to my new regulars being Roland, you're awesome. Daniel, awesome. Jenna Wren, amazing. Jupes Junk. Don't think I haven't been seeing you in here. I appreciate it. Gray Ghost 82, man, you're starting to hold it down. And of course, my serious veterans in here like Cart Thulu, Commander Root, Miracles of Minimum Wage. You're back, Miss Moves a lot. Thank you so much. I mean, seriously, we love seeing you guys in here holding it down. Don't think I forgot about you, Alisadra. Yeah, don't think that. Yes, you are awesome. You really are. And put the can of worms away. Stop fishing for the compliments. But I want to thank you guys for showing up. Thank you guys for spreading the word. This is really cool. Thank you, Neon, for sharing the Discord server. Again, if you guys want to help us out financially, I just put in the chat the ways that you could do so out of pocket. Of course, you can always subscribe using your Amazon Prime account. I'm stressing the Amazon Prime account because you're already paying for Amazon Prime and it's free. Okay. But it does help me out by increasing the amount Twitch is willing to pay me so that I can start paying co-hosts and making sure that the internet doesn't get turned off. Or buy new power supplies when my stream starts cutting off in the middle. A few of you guys were here for that. And I wouldn't be able to keep this going without your guys' support. As you guys are seeing recently, I've had to get a day job. And when I have a day job, I have no time and energy to do this. And I love being the Easter Bunny at the mall. I love it. But when I get home, I'm dead. When I wake up, I'm dead. And all my energy has to go around to dancing in a 30-pound suit of fur. So thank you guys for your support and thank you for being here. And Heather, thank you for being so willing to hang out with this cranky, wacky old guy right here. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. You're not old. You're just experienced.
Well, I do have a lot of mileage, but I couldn't get the mileage unless I had the time. And one day you'll have this mileage. You'll be GM Heather, regular host Heather, seasoned Heather, something. I don't know. You'll have the time. But yeah, so seriously, and thank you guys. If you guys have any questions or comments, want to state anything like that, well, guess what? It's easy. All you got to do is jam the music and pull up your email. That's right. Pull up your email and type in backinthedeck@gmail.com. It's BACKINTHEDECK @gmail.com. You can also hit me up at Twitter @backinthedeck. That's @ because it doesn't have a cool name like an ampersand. BACKINTHEDECK. Also at Instagram, same thing as Twitter. TikTok, you can reach me at BidPy. And if you're in your 40s like I am and spend more time on Facebook than you do on any other thing, then hit me up on Deckers on the Book. All right, Deckers on the Book is our Facebook group where we show what we're painting and the stuff that we're working on. People reach out going, hey, I got a question about rules to this game. And the Deckers as a whole put our heads together, use our Google skills, read the rules, and then we explain it in language that anybody can understand because game designers write like lawyers. And where can they find you, Miss Johnson?
You can find me on Twitch TV, twitch.tv/GamingFix Live. And that's going to be Gaming Fix, spelled GAMINGFIXXLIVE. And you can catch me there at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, as well as you can send me emails at my personal account at mellowcello007 if you want to, shoot some ideas, collaborate, do anything like that. All of the above.
Awesome. All right, this is super cool. So, thank you guys for being here. Hang on. Oh, dag nabbit. I was actually doing a thing here. Yeah, there we go. Is that the thing? I think this is the thing. Could this be the thing? I'm hoping it's the thing. But yeah. So, you said that's Gaming Fix?
Gaming Fix Live.
Gaming Fix Live. Oh. Gaming Fix Live, you say?
Yup.
That's 2 X's?
Yep.
And
Not
it's all
X,
green
triple X
and
rated.
stuff? Wow. That is cool. So what you're telling me is they can find you here, where I put in the chat. That's right, I put that there. Oh yeah, it's got wrestling stuff on it too. Isn't that fun? So yeah, and like I said, I want to thank you guys for showing up. I want to thank you guys for being here. Check out the archive over on the Gaming Fix. And check out some other cool channels that I'll be putting up periodically, because these are the people that I look up to and that I look at for gaming and all that other stuff too. But in the meantime, if anybody tells you that you can't like what you like because of the circumstances of your birth, be it race, religion, creed, gender identity, sexual orientation, disability, neurodivergency, or your budget, because we all know that the trailer park is never too far from the hood. You can tell those people to take those cards and put them back in
in the deck.
We are going to be here next week because I have to go back to work at the mall, you know, being the bunny. And of course, you know, got it. But we will be back next week. Until then, hit us up on the Discord. Keep talking. I always got my cell phone on me, except for when I'm in the suit proper. And we will talk, and we will be friends, and we will be happy. But until then, I'm Solar Gray, Cinematic Sorcerer, along with Miss Heather Johnson. And we will see you next time on the Dark Side of the Ring.